Upon seeing this game on Steam, which before I continue with that thought, I'm no means a computer gamer, nor do my videos consist of footage or versions of games on PC, so with that being said, I saw a very interesting looking indie game taking form of another title involving fishing and the mysterious depths of the ocean. I've covered another game on here called Dredge, which will be slapped onto the list of my favorite games of all time, so I was very interested in seeing what Dave the Diver had to offer. Come to find out, they actually collabed together with a DLC inspired by Dredge, but we'll talk about that in a bit. First, let me give you some background on the game, tell you how this channel is not a before you buy, so there will be spoilers throughout this video. Watch at your own risk, because I'm not giving you another heads up or warning past this point. Dave the Diver released on PC and Nintendo Switch way before coming to PS5, which is what I played it on, so that's why I'm a bit late to covering this title. Those respective dates would be on June 28, 2023 for PC and October 26, 2023 for Switch. As for the PS5 and PS4, on April 16th, 2024, Dave the Diver ended up releasing, and amazingly enough, this game was developed and published by the same company, MitRocket. I was able to gain access to this game for free due to it being available to PlayStation Plus members who have the upper tier memberships, but if you don't have PS Plus, Dave the Diver sits at $19.99, $20, which I will say right away is worth the price. For more explanation on that, keep watching, but for now, let's cover the story. With Dave on vacation, he gets a call from our very eager entrepreneur friend who goes by Cobra, sealing the deal with the mention of sushi. On arrival, we're tasked to get our feet wet, quite literally, by getting a few minutes under the water, hooking some fish to get back in the swing of things in terms of diving, and once back on the boat, Cobra then gets us into the restaurant game with talented chef Bancho to make a bunch of money. Within a few days after arrival, we come to meet a biologist named Ellie, Dr. Bacon, an archaeologist, Duff, a weapons dealer, Yoshi, our employee recruiter, and our restaurant cat, Momo. They all use Dave's diving to supply their own needs. For example, for Ellie, it's species management. For Dr. Bacon, he's on the hunt for the mythical sea people. Duff helps provide weapons that can be brought back and forth between the blue hole without being destroyed. Yoshi, it's self-explanatory, she helps with employees, and Momo is just chill like that. Also, you heard me right, I uttered the words blue hole from my lips, and you might be asking what the hell is a blue hole? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it's not what you think it is. This whole game centers around the blue hole, this mysterious big blue hole. Inside the blue hole, the terrain is ever changing. Every fish known to man has found their way here for some reason. Gigantic species of the normal fish that we see, we find ourselves ended up catching. Eco-terrorists posed as environmentalists in this fucking blue hole, and most importantly, it's inhabited by sea people. That's the blue hole in a nutshell. First things first, we're treated to a visual of all of our precious goodies arriving by boat, only to get snatched up by what is only known to us, rationalists, aka people who will never touch the deep ocean in their life because of this ever possibly existing. A fucking kraken takes our shipment, which prompts Cobra and others to send us, Dave, to go find it. What the fuck are they thinking? In doing so, though, we come across this behemoth snatching up what we can only assume is a member of those sea people that Dr. Bacon was talking about. This discovery excites Dr. Bacon, so we continue to push further while also collecting as much fish and ingredients for our night shift job as well, helping Bancho run the sushi joint up on the surface. A lot happens both above and below, so let's split these two sections up a bit. Sea People Sea Adventure storyline in one corner, and Bancho Sushi Evolution in the other. In terms of Bancho Sushi, I can't fucking say sushi. In terms of Bancho Sushi, how am I gonna keep that in? I can't fucking say sushi. Bancho Sushi. Why it fucking makes my fucking, I don't know. Whatever. Throughout the progression of the game, you'll encounter multiple TV chefs that, Remick. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I can't fucking speak. In terms of Bancho Sushi, throughout the progression of the game, you'll encounter multiple TV shows. Why she shell seashores? Why is my S's getting completely mixed up? Oh my god. In terms of Bancho Sushi, some of this is gonna stay in, or some of it's gonna be put in the end of the video. Oh my god. Throughout the progression of the game, you'll encounter multiple TV shows to please with Bancho's fantastic recipes, as well as competing with other chefs on the game show. progressing until you come across the whole reason Bancho came out here in the first place, Louis Crawford, a famous actress that everyone wanted to please, who was disgusted by Bancho's choice of cuisine when he used to work for a fancy hotel. He chose to be himself and make fried shark head to show his set of skills, but she, being immediately disgusted, made Bancho quit to further study the art of being a chef. Now his unique style of chefmanship has built him a successful sushi restaurant, and throughout that timeline though, we become friends and business partner with multiple people: Otto, MC Sammy, who is Otto's kid, Sato, Django, and Udo. As for Dave here, he goes on to traveling down to the Blue Hole depths to help escort the injured sea person who turned out to be the king's daughter. Returning her to the village after acquiring a translator to understand their language, we get tasked to help out the village members to gain their trust. During this time, we will be encountering John Watson, a quote-unquote eco-friendly guy who is out to stop people from hurting the ocean, all while not obeying his own rule of law, destroying everything in his path to try and get rid of us, while also running a pirate poaching ring, slaughtering sea life for profit. Fully equipped with AKs, sentry drones, and mech suits, Dave is able to stop his attempts to basically kill us and his pirate operations from succeeding, and return to helping the village, which is falling apart due to the never-ending earthquakes and heat rising from the depths that is melting their home and killing the great divine tree, which allows them to continue living properly. So with our mission stated, we're off to gain access to the Glacier Passage, which requires a key. That key is locked away along with mutated sea people called Yadans. Upon retrieval of the key, we're able to move forward to the Glacial Passage, which will end up requiring an upgraded suit to be able to continue the venture further down, but before that happens, we encounter a giant Gadan who chases us for an extended period of time, before being crushed with the help of Swam, the most useful person in the Sea People civilization. Now the only things in between us and the glacial area is a few puzzles, prehistoric deep sea life, and the roots of the divine tree. Oh, and this motherfucker again, John Watson, in a rocket shooting submarine. Once defeating both John and this fucking underwater dinosaur, we finally figure out what is causing the earthquakes. A giant Yowie, who has been taking an extended lava bath, birthing thousands of tiny Yowie who are feeding on the roots of the divine tree. After beating down the Yowie, we are joined by all of our Sea People friends who help finish the job on the Yowie. Mission completed, and with the statue being put up beside the old king of the sea village, a big thank you from the Sea People themselves, we celebrate with all of our friends up top, enjoying life and eating sushi. Now that you got the story summary of the game, let's cover my thoughts on the game itself, which can be split up into quite a few categories. Going into this game, I was kind of expecting a straightforward dive, collect, cook, sell, make a bunch of money type game, you know, those simulators out there, whatever, what have you. But we kind of got it. But it was done right. On top of which, we got a decently good story. Nothing award-winning, no emotional masterpiece. I mean, just some good old creative fucking fun. Big-ass fish monsters, badass chef, a few words, fun and playful relationships, underwater society, all while making bank selling fried shark heads. You're not getting a best story of all time ranking here, let alone any awards for great storytelling, but you've made the people playing do more and experience more than just dive, collect, cook, sell, repeat. You've got eco-terrorists trying to kill dolphins while you use salvage drones yourself to collect full nets of tuna up to your boat to be cut, cooked, and sold while you have a raptor serving cocktails. What's better than this? As straight up mechanic-wise, the game works like this. There's a day to night sequence that's split up into 3 parts, 4 to be technical. You have the start of the day, aka morning. You can access all your side things like your fish farm, normal farm, Bancho Sushi, your phone, and Cobra shop without using up any of the time until you initiate your dive. While diving, you'll be able to stay under for as long as you want, as long as your needs are met. Those being sufficient amount of air, not over encumbered, not actively in a mission. You can have it tabbed on the side, but some missions once started will bring you back to the surface on completion. In the beginning of the game, picking up every ingredient and item you see while sticking as much fish as you can carry is a must. As the game continues, you'll be able to basically have most of the stuff automated so you can focus on bigger and better things deeper down. You'll be able to do this in the afternoon portion as well, allowing you to freely dive 2 times a day. Once you have finished your afternoon dive, you'll be prompted to go to Bancho Sushi to prepare for that other half of the game. After a certain point in the story, however, you'll be able to go on a night dive using up half the night, which is where the technical 4 part comes into play, because after you come back up, you'll still be able to go to Bancho Sushi, but only for half the amount of time. resulting in less time making money. Night dives also allow you to only explore the top layer of the blue hole, nothing further, and the majority of the fish you'll find will be hostile towards you on sight. Previously mentioned, the nighttime section is used for bancho sushi, so you'll be tasked to serve the oncoming customers with whatever recipes you've selected with the ingredients you've gathered. You'll start with yourself and Bancho, he cooks, you serve, and then you'll be introduced to Yoshi, who was once a critic of Bancho's choice of recipes, but once her taste buds are blessed with his creations, she'll help you with hiring employees, allowing you to have help serving and giving Bancho help in the kitchen. Above and below the water, you'll be able to upgrade just about everything, from suit and weapon upgrades to employees to recipes. You can even expand your farms to create more ingredients and fish coming in on a daily basis. Speaking of days, you'll be progressing along with the story, so if you're not doing any main missions, you could, in turn, keep going for as long as you wanted. Throughout this time, though, you'll encounter a few other friends that'll give you a few side missions here and there, as well as your email that'll give you a heads up on what kind of fish will be popping in the next coming days, so you can stock up to make some big money. But ultimately, you'll have to upgrade your equipment to progress the story anyways, as you'll need to go deeper and deeper, carry more and more, and deal more damage against the more hostile sea life that want you dead. There are a few puzzles in this game, and by puzzles I mean just turn this until you can go through it, point this in the direction to activate it, yada yada yada. It's enough to be different from what you've been doing in terms of mechanics, but not at all something you're going to go home and be like, yeah, fuck yeah, we played a puzzle game. You're not going to see any of that. Catching fish, however, involves your harpoon gun, which will have different QTEs depending on what type of mod you have on your harpoon, or you can just shoot shit with your rifle, but you'll have to be wary of where you're going to fill up on ammo because you don't have a lot. It's mainly there for bigger fish to weaken and then hit with the harpoon, which has unlimited uses. The only issue I take up with the gameplay mechanics is the whole movement we've got going on here. Free roaming, it's pretty fine, but these intense chases or being pushed around by these fucking things, it's tougher than hell to know what's coming in the limited view you have. And when you do see it, it's a bit janky trying to avoid those hitboxes. And once you're done with the story and it's time for the routine trophy cleanup, the game just turns into a skip day simulator to get all that automated goodness to farm money and other things. So put on some music or YouTube, because for some people it might get kind of mind-numbing. So overall, I give the whole gameplay portion an 8.3 out of 10. I think it all meshes very well. Doesn't have you turning this into a fishing catching simulation until, like I said, once the story finishes, that's where things go a bit sour, but it gives you quite a bit of wiggle room to enjoy that aspect, but steers and keeps you along for the ride that they've created while the story is active. Speaking of story. So the story came out of nowhere for me, not gonna lie. Like previously mentioned, I was expecting a dive, catch, sell kind of game, but after seeing the reviews, I knew there had to have been something more to it. No, I didn't watch any trailers, no, I didn't actually read those reviews, I just jumped into it blind. So after seeing an underwater civilization being discovered by our friendly neighborhood diver, where sea people once flourished but now are in need of our help, weapons dealers becoming our friends, and giant mutated versions of normal sea life causing mischief in this so-called blue hole that the story revolves around, I was quite excited. Unfortunately, with all said and done, it can be summed up pretty quickly as nothing more than the average guy stumbling upon something and saving the day kind of story. Being hated in the eyes of the sea people until you do the fetch quest, side quest, and then you have a statue made for you once you can accomplish the end goal. Nothing there to rave home about at the end of the day, but it makes the gameplay feel fresh and allows it to continue flowing so you can have a good time with everything going on. We love a story that just works with the game, doesn't have to be perfect to move forward a good game. So I give her a 7.3. In terms of characters, everybody here is pretty likable. Like there's not really an issue with everybody, but you get for instance, Bancho is just a badass, Dave is just likable. You get little pieces of Bancho lore, but you're not like diving into his storyline. You're just like, oh, this is why he's here. Boom, good to go. Like it gives you very minimal things, explains it well, and that's about it. There's not a whole lot going on here in terms of story. So like I said, it's average, maybe. Yeah, it's average at best. 7.3. I'll give that a 7.3. So these won't be added into the final score of the game, but I just wanted to talk about these for a little bit. I downloaded both the Godzilla and Dredge DLC before playing the game, and on startup, it'll let you know when these become active. Both become active later in the story after you gain access to certain equipment and get deeper into the game. They're completely free and they are short or use up similar aspects from the vanilla game. For instance, the Godzilla one has a questline that ends on you controlling Godzilla fighting Ibira in a Mortal Kombat type match. After completion, you'll be able to collect figurines throughout the map that are hidden in certain areas that you've probably already been or haven't been to yet. Whereas the Dredge DLC has you facing a similar type of party scenario you see while playing the game. You know, those parties where it's like, hey, we're going to have a tuna party, we're going to have a shrimp party, we're going to have a cocktail party on your email. But in this case, you'll be seeing the red fog roll in as you'll be greeted by the traveling merchant who tells you that the hooded figures will be coming through and you need to collect the aberrated fish. You'll control the boat just like in Dredge, finding a section to then dive for aberrated fish. The hooded figures can only eat those fish while the rest of the normal customers need to be served their regular sushi. Both of these were really cool, and when played with the main game the first time, they almost seemed to fit right in with how they complemented each other. It was actually surprising how you could have just probably put these in the game without a DLC, and I wouldn't have batted an eye with it. It would have just worked perfectly. If you do get Dave the Diver, download these DLCs right away, because it'll only add to the cool experience you're currently playing through. So this is where both the game shines and kind of falls flat. Now, if you know me, I really don't put a whole lot of time into this part. I just say a few things and then move on. But the 2D styled pixel art game we see before us is the shining moment. I loved everything about it. You don't need hyperrealism to create a beautiful looking game, so they get a 10 for this right off the bat. It was executed properly in my eyes, but on the other hand, the music, which you'll be hearing almost at every point in the game in some form, it works well at first. It definitely holds its own throughout, sorta, kinda, maybe not really, until it just gets a bit repetitive to the point of me being able to listen to music or watch YouTube while playing without it taking away from giving me any type of experience past a certain point. I give it a 5.5 out of 10. In Dave the Diver, we have a total of 44 trophies, one of those being the Platinum, of course, and according to PSN profiles, we have Dave the Diver sitting at a 3 out of 10 difficulty rating, with one playthrough followed by a 40-hour time frame, and as you can see by the title of this video, I can basically agree to their ratings. Can you get this trophy time faster? Quite maybe, but as for me, this run and majority how I play games when it comes to making these videos, it relies on me also going through the game for the first time. So I try to enjoy what's being portrayed in front of me as much as possible, on top of being trophy efficient as possible. As for the difficulty rating, that 310 could possibly be a 2.5 out of 10, but since there's a decent amount of time required to acquire this platinum, with a little bit of tedious grinding when it comes to a couple of the trophies later on, I can see why a 3 is a good spot for it. Actually, looking back now, this is definitely possible under 40, so a good spot for the time frame would be between 35 to 40 hours, considering that I added on both the Godzilla and Dredge DLC packs and played through them on top of the main game, so without them, it probably wouldn't have taken 40 hours if I hadn't sat around and enjoyed those two DLCs. In terms of playthroughs, yes, everything can be taken care of in one playthrough if you don't miss the only missable trophy in the game, which we'll talk about in a bit. In terms of what's going on in this trophy list, we've got 13 story or unmissable related trophies. One of these 13 isn't unmissable exactly, but if you go through the game playing all the VIP missions like every normal player would have, you'll eventually end up with the manager trophy by the end of this questline. So I'm considering it unmissable, because it kinda is part of the story. Out of all the trophies, there is only one missable like I previously mentioned. The trophy in question here is Ration Eater. This trophy requires you to pick up and eat a ration that is located in a part of the story where the level can only be accessed one time. If you miss the ration, you'll need to either have a save before this mission or will have to replay up to this point in order to acquire this trophy. As for collectibles, there's only two related to this, both requiring the use of the camera to find photo spots throughout the game, taking picture of both the sea life and the various sea people murals tucked away in caves and tunnels. As for the grinding aspect of the list, we've got quite a few. Another section of 12, but I'm going to put in 13 because my own reasoning. I'm counting Scrap Metal Collector as a grind-related trophy. It requires you to pick up 100 items off the sea floor. Now, most likely you'll be doing this throughout without even noticing you're doing it, and it'll come pretty quickly. But you could definitely find yourself in a position where you just went after fish in the main story, completely ignoring these items on the ground, and then find yourself needing to go back and pick up however many more you needed. And once you start doing this as a task, instead of just doing it right along with the game, it'll definitely make it worthy of a grind. Lastly, we just got all the miscellaneous trophies left over, tallying up a total of 14. These spans from beating every boss, to catching fish with sniper rifles and knives, to getting to know Momo a little better, helping the Sea People townfolk get their shops and farms running properly again, and wiping out every developer of the game with a laser rifle. Yeah, you heard me right. This trophy list sits at a 9 out of 10 for me. It's very easy to comprehend with some challenge in the process to make some of these trophies very satisfying. A bit of grinding, but nothing overwhelmingly mind-numbing that you begin to hate your time with the game. Only one missable trophy that's pretty easy to get, so you won't have to stress throughout your playthrough having to restart anywhere to get that platinum. If you got your hands on Dave the Diver, this platinum is highly recommended. So leaving the last section off with a strong recommend in terms of the platinum, it goes hand in hand with buying and playing the entire game as well. If you have the opportunity to pick this up for free like I did, it's a no-brainer. Even if you have to buy this, that $20 price tag is well worth opening up your wallet for. It's overall just a fun time, and it's what a game should be at the end of the day. 10 out of 10 AAA masterpieces are fun and all, but when you have some creative and talented ass people coming together to make a game that very well could have flown under the radar as a fishing simulator, it's a breath of fresh air. So overall, I'm going to give Dave the Diver an 8.7. I know I ragged on the story a bit, and yes, it's a bit average, and with characters only talking through text, it makes getting involved with the story a little less impactful in my eyes, but with that being said, Dave the Diver still ranks high with its amazing visuals and just dope overall experience. Thank you everybody for tuning in and watching. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. If you like this game, if you haven't played this game, should you play this game, comment whatever you want. It's your time to shine. And I will try to get down to the comments. I usually do. But again, thank you if you clicked on this video. Thank you if you've made it all the way. I hope you have a good rest of your day wherever you are. Peace out, everybody.